Hello people of the future, and this is not an episode of Let's Make a Trading Card Game. I have some footage ready, but it's not enough for the entire episode, so I'm doing this instead. I'm in the middle of exam season where I study, so it's becoming almost impossible to work on the trading card game, but I am still working on it. Anyway, I wanted to ask you a few questions and advice. First of all, about the rarity system of trading card games and collectible card games, which are the same thing. I've had a few discussions on Reddit and on Facebook about this, and there are certain pros and cons to the rarity system. I think I mentioned in one of my previous videos what it is. Essentially, cards can be of different rarities and can be found at different rates in products. Now, this rarity system enables so-called limited formats, in which you don't prepare your deck out of the cards you own, but rather you open a certain amount of products of the game and build a deck out of those cards that you open. One of the more popular formats of Magic the Gathering, and personally the one that I enjoy the most, is Booster Draft. When, let's say, 8 people all at the same time open a pack of cards, and then look through the cards, which are randomized of course, and they pick one that they'll use to build their deck with, and then pass it on to the person to their left, and the person to the right passes on their pack that they opened, except for the card that they have. So, you start with 15, choose a card, give the pack to the person to your left, then you have a pack of 14 cards, choose one, and this process goes until all the cards are distributed. Then you open another pack, and then another pack. And then out of the 45 cards that you have, you build a deck and play with it. And it's a really interesting format, and and this really works only with trading card games and that have products with randomized cards. Another thing that the rarity system helps with is getting less experienced players a way to learn how the game works through exposing them to less complex cards first and then more complex cards later. The common cards usually have less text. As a rule, they are simpler to play and easier to play and can be used in many different scenarios. And newer players can learn how to play the game with common cards, and then by the time they have enough rare cards, they already know how to play the game well enough. And then there's another thing that could be considered a plus of the rarity system. It's the excitement that people get while opening a pack of cards and looking through the cards, and you never know what you're going to get. And there's this collection element to opening packs of trading cards. And there's the trading aspect and the collection aspect. So some people are into that. But unfortunately there are many things that are wrong with this rarity system. So let's imagine that rare cards are generally better than common cards. Players generally like playing good strategies, especially competitive players, and they will get a hold of the rare cards. But since they are harder to find, the prices on the rare cards will go up. So they need to pay more money to get the cards, and sometimes it goes way too far. Some cards cost hundreds and thousands of dollars even, especially if they're not reprinted. So the cards are hard to find, they cost a lot of money, and people who want to play those cards have to pay a lot of money. So it's a way of extorting money from your players, from your fans, and that usually frustrates the player base. Even Magic the Gathering, which is my favorite trading card game, consistently makes the rare cards more powerful than the common ones. There are some exceptions, but usually you have to pay and get the rare cards. So I'm conflicted here. I don't know whether to implement the rarity system or not. There is another distribution method of similar card games, which is called the living card game model, which I think is copyrighted by Final Fantasy Flight Games, FFG. So what they do is they sell a set of cards without any rarity. They sell all of the cards, and then it's up to the player to decide which cards they play and how to build their own deck. So first of all, this takes off the barrier between the players and the rare cards. But you lose also the limited formats that trading card games traditionally have and implement. And then if they release another set, they will sell it as a complete set of cards, selling every card that that set adds to the game. There is one game which started off as a trading card game, Android Netrunner, previously just Netrunner, which became a living card game, and they for a while lost all of their limited formats. But then they added draft packs, which are similar to the packs of other trading card games that enable to play draft formats and sealed formats, all the limited formats that people like so much. So you play limited formats just for the fun of playing limited formats, which is fine. But in trading card games, that's also a way of acquiring new cards. So I have a question to you, subscribers and fans of trading card games. What do you think about the rarity system? Is it needed in a game like the Mothership? Especially since lately the rarity model that trading card games use hasn't really made any successful trading card games, and many trading card games are being discontinued. Even big ones like Kaijudo or Dragon Ball TCG, World of Warcraft TCG are all being discontinued. So your thoughts on this? And secondly, I have a much easier question about the name of the Mothership. As you know, the Mothership is just a placeholder name for my game. I realize you don't know all of the rules of my game, but it's enough to say that it's played on a game board, something like this, where you start the game in one corner and your opponent starts the game in another corner, and you'll have your home planets there, and then by exploring the galaxy and exploring new planets, or by just going straight for the kill, you conquer your opponent's planet. It's a fantasy trading card game located in space, and I don't know what to call it. So if you have any ideas, write them in the comment section below. I will read them and give credit to whoever comes up with the final name, if someone comes up with the final name. So anyway, I'm sorry for the lack of content. I will upload a new episode of Let's Make a Trading Card Game next week, and until then, keep it up.